I know. It's a bit much, but here we are. I got another book haul. Don't judge me. Hello friends, I'm Rosa. Welcome to the channel. So, I got another book haul. We're talking about 26 books today. I don't know how I've managed because I literally did a book haul last month. But here we are. So, I could have waited with this until March, I think. However, I don't like to make my book hauls like huge, and I have some other books coming in, mainly special editions. Not so many pre-orders for February, surprisingly. Or March, for that matter. So these are mostly pre-orders and also special editions that I have received throughout the first half of February and also partly January, or at least like, because it takes a while for pre-orders to get to me. So yeah, and it's been a lot. It's been a whole lot. I'm gonna stop talking about random things. We're gonna start talking about books now, but just quickly want to note that all the books are linked in the description box if you want to check them out. And also there are chapters in the timeline down here, so if you would rather hear about adult fantasy, you can click ahead, but we're gonna start out with young adult fantasy. So let's get to it. Yes, most definitely. Let's go. We're starting out with a big one. So, Chain of Thorns actually arrived with me a couple of days ago. So, more specifically yesterday. I'm very excited. I have not read the first two. I still want to get through the Dark Artifices before I get to this one. So, or before I get to Chain of Gold, and then Chain of Iron, and then this one. Is that the order? Yes. So, it's gonna take a little bit of time, but I am confident that I'm going to love the other books as well, so I just pre-ordered it because it's a thing. I like the Shadowhunters. I like the books. They're kind of like the same after the same and then more of the same, but for some reason it just works. I don't know. By Cassandra Clare, by the way. Oh, I forgot to say, but these are the UK editions, so they have no dust jacket. Also have end papers that look like this. Very cute. Is that James? I think that's his name. James Herondale. Yeah, he looks like every other Herondale, but well, except from Jace. Kind of interesting. Anyway, moving on. I also have now read Sorcery of Thorns, but I wasn't actually planning on buying this, so I got Mysteries of Thorn Manor by Margaret Rogerson. The thing is, I had planned not to get this, but then someone took a picture of it and complained about the size of the book, and I was like, that is so cute. Tiny. I need it. So they were like, put a hand on the book and were like, this is ridiculously small, and I was like, oh my god. It's like a miniature book. So I got it, despite not having read Sorcery of Thorns. And if you want to compare, like, it is super tiny. It is not even a B format. As in, like, it is smaller than a B format. It's super small. I think it's so cute. And I'm slightly annoyed that the UK covers are so saturated because it looks dumb. But other than that, very excited to have this. Then Owlcrate were so generous to send me this set. It is the Strange the Dreamer and Muse of Nightmare set by Laini Taylor. Thank you again to Owlcrate. By the way, I have a rep code with them. It's written in the description box just if you want to check it out. But they send me these and I'm gonna show them to you because I need to. I simply need to. So they are, I think, considered anniversary editions. We have the first one, Strange the Dreamer, redesigned cover. It has like a foily art print on the front cover with Laszlo sitting in the middle, and also a quote on the back that I cannot read, but feel free to read it yourself. I mean, I can read it, I just can't because I can't see. You get it. Okay. End paper's looking like this. And also inside dust jacket art looking like this. So this is the crew that is going to weep with Laszlo, and it's really cute. I love the style. Oh, by the way, Laszlo is this dude right there. So, you know, all I'm saying is, Sarai, I get it. I kind of get it. And then the other one, Muse of Nightmares, it's kind of like the same pattern-ish, but then inverted. So, yellow-blue. They both have blue spread edges. This has silver foiling on a slightly lighter naked cover with Sarai sitting in the middle and all her moths. And then on the back, it has another quote that, I have not read this one yet. I read Strange the Dreamer and I loved it so much. And this has end papers that are also inverted. So this is like the bird instead of moths as well. You know, the bird. machine. And on the naked cover we have Sarai and her siblings as well, standing on the flying bird. So you get what I mean if you've read them. Sarai and her gorgeous, gorgeous hair. Oh, I love her so much. Anyway, also forgot to show, but it has a bound-in letter and is also signed by Laini Taylor. So I'm very excited about that because it means I both have Strange the Dreamer signed. Muse of Nightmares isn't, but my other version of Muse of Nightmares is signed. So I'm very excited about that. And since I just recalled that I completely forgotten to say what the story is in Strange the Dreamer because I didn't for the first 2 books, let me just rectify that. So, in Strange the Dreamer, we follow Laszlo Strange, who is a librarian. He's an orphan, and he has basically been brought up at the library. Like, he's so well known when it comes to books. He knows a lot of stuff about books. He's also, I guess you could say, sort of a historian because he's obsessed with this place that's called Weep. It's a city that has lost its name. One day everyone woke up and just couldn't remember the name of Weep. But Laszlo is very obsessed with this whole concept, this whole phenomenon. So he has learned everything there is to know about Weep and also knows the language that they talk in Weep. However, has not been to Weep and it's like his biggest dream ever. So when he gets the chance to go, he does. And when he gets there, he keeps having dreams of this blue girl. Like, she just keeps showing up in his dreams and he's very confused about that. And so he has a lot of questions about that. And I think, I don't know. I don't know if I want to say more than that. There's like stuff with gods as well. Sarai is one of the blue people, not avatars, other blue people. But yeah, it's beautiful, very lyrical, beautiful, gorgeous, stunning. So loved it. Now we can move on. Now that I've remembered to summarize my books. Okay. Applause. Round of applause for me. So next up we have another All Crate edition. This one was from the January box and it is The Bird and the Bound by Rochelle Hassan. This has a redesigned cover as well. The original is a little bit blue-ish and I think I like this one a lot more. It's just cute, right? It's very cute. I can't actually remember what this is about. I'm not gonna lie. But as for our edition, we have some foiling printed onto the hard case as well as on the back here, so front and back. Different quotes if you want to read them. I think the bag is more like a library thing. You can see. There's also end paper art that looks like this, such a cute style. And in the back we have a different set of end paper art that looks like this. It is also signed by the author with an inbound letter right here. And we have some inside dust jacket art that looks like this, a massive wolf and 2 scared people. So I don't know what this is about. What I do remember about this is that it includes fae. There's a girl and 2 guys and something about a bit of an adventure, a bit of like a journey they go on. She's also a witch and one of the guys is in love with someone who's completely forgotten who he is or something. Or is it he doesn't remember this person at all? It's confusing, but we have to do with fae. So I'll read this at some point. I'm gonna definitely I'm gonna figure out what time. I think it's more like a spring feel to me, so we'll see about it though. And then we got a Fairy Loot edition, which is Spies Wrote by Maya Ibrahim, which stunning. Again, we have young adult fantasy with some adventure in it. I'm just quickly going to show you this edition. First of all, colorway change. The original is very yellow orangey out here with some blue here because it's the sky, and there's the sun here. You can't really see it because it's very orange, and then it has this going on underneath, which is insanity. It's insanity. This is a printed, it's foiled, but there's also art on the naked cover. If you can see, there's a pattern underneath the foiling. The back looks like this, spine looks like this. It was upside down, so here you go. And then the edges are actual, I don't even love them. Love them so much. We have end paper art that looks like this in the front, and in the back they look a little bit different. And I'm slightly obsessed with this guy, which I think it's her brother, so I think it's okay to be obsessed with him. I'm not, getting in between of their love interest sword, but I don't know. I think it's her brother though, but look at him. Is all I want to say, okay? And then inside dust jacket art, we have a reversible dust jacket, which no, I have not turned it around. Otherwise, I'd be looking at him. And I don't want to be a creep, so I'm gonna leave it like this. And this should at least People are making a lot of noise. Is also signed by the author right over here. So this is a story about a girl who has to go looking for her brother. Her brother is like, what is it? He's in some dangerous stuff. Right. So because there is this spice in this world that is, it's, if you drink it, you get some powers of some kind. And he's been stealing it, her brother. So he's run off. I think she might think he's dead or something, but then she hears news of him actually being alive, and so she decides to set out on an adventure, a journey to find her brother, but she needs help to do so. So she gets help from this dude who's like, what is the title? A beast seer. Yeah, I don't know. But they go out on a journey to find her brother, and you just find him. And I'm guessing there's a romance, but like, I don't know. So, but that is Spice Road. I actually have an arc of it, so I will be reading it at some point. I just need to pick my moment. I also bought the sequel to the Raven Boys. That took me way too long to remember. So this is The Dream Thieves by Maggie Stiefvater, which I bought used, but it's still a first edition, which really took me by surprise because this book is from 2013 and it's in such good condition. Like, I don't get it. I have books that are way more yellow than this, so that was really surprising. But here he is. I have not read The Raven Boys, but I have, and you'll see this like ongoing pattern throughout this video maybe. I have come to the conclusion that I suck at starting series if I don't have at least like 2 or 3 of the books in the series. That includes duologies, by the way. I just can't make myself start reading them. So I have made the decision to just buy the sequels and then hope for the best, and if I don't like them, I'll pass them on to someone else, you know? So I got this used, which I was very excited about, but I cannot tell you what The Raven Boys is about so far, because I don't want to know. Something about people stealing dreams, I guess. I can't remember. Same kind of situation with this one. I found it today. It was on sale. Beasts of Ruin by Ayana Gray, which is the sequel to Beasts of Prey. Cannot really say what it's about other than in Beasts of Prey, I think they are at a zoo, and it's still like young adult fantasy, but it's a duology, so I got this one very cheap, by the way, for Danish prices, very cheap, and I just jumped on it, essentially. So, but I've heard the first one is really good, so I have faith, yes. The only young adult sci-fi that I have, this was a cover purchase, I'm not gonna lie, but the cover is so good in my opinion. So I have Mindwalker by Kate Dillon, and I don't like, look at it, it's so cool. It's such a good drawing. I love this. So it was a bit of a cover buy, a full-on cover buy. But we follow a girl who has like some kind of explosive grafted into her brain, which will explode in 12 months. And so she has been working for a corporation, something about saving people, and then she decides to infiltrate a competing corporation, but when she gets there, what is it exactly that happens? Desperate to prove she's no traitor, Syl infiltrates the Analog Army, an activist faction working to bring Syntax down. So she works for Syntax. Her plan, to win back her company's trust by destroying the group from within. Instead, she and the army's reckless leader, Ryder, uncover a horrifying truth that threatens to undo all the good Syl's ever done. So I'm guessing, like, you know, Syntax might not actually be as good as they claim to be. So, our girl working with rebels, very cool, but with like an explosive thing grafted into her brain. So she has a deadline, essentially, and literally, yes. Then we got 2 books that I would consider probably new adult a little bit. We have Moon Called by Patricia Briggs. I cannot say her name. Patricia Briggs. Very difficult for me to pronounce her name, apparently. You would think Patricia is a very simple name, but no. So I bought this because I kind of want to do a vlog where I read, I'm losing my voice, where I read new adult, urban fantasy, romance, and this is one of them. So like books that are from the zeros, essentially, because all the ones that I've pointed out or chosen are from the zeros. There was a trend, and I'm there for it, you know, like it was a good trend. So this is one of them. And all you need to know is that Mercy Thompson, who is our girl right here, kind of creepy, but anyway. Her life is a long way from normal. Her next door neighbor is an alpha werewolf. Her former boss is a gremlin, and she's fixing a Volkswagen. Is that even? Anyway. bus for a vampire. But then Mercy isn't exactly normal herself. I don't know what that means, but I guess we'll figure it out when I read it. A stranger comes to town. He's apparently a werewolf, and Mercy actually gives him a chance to settle down, but he's not from the local pack. And soon after, strange things start to happen, like a dead body shows up at her front step, and the leader of the pack gets death threats and stuff. And I'm guessing there's a little bit of a romance between the two because she's having a hard time actually like saying like bye-bye, this is weird, go away. So anyway, Moon Called. The other one I just received actually is Angel's Blood by Lenini Singe. So this has like vampires and angels. We follow a woman who is a vampire hunter who has been sent out to actually, instead of hunting down a vampire, she has to hunt down an archangel gone bad. But as it turns out, he's quite catching. How do you say that? She's having a hard time resisting his charms. So anyway, Angel's Blood, yes. A Guild Hunter novel. I think there's like 10 of these or something, so I don't know. There's one of those urban fantasy series where there's like 10 books, and I'm quite nervous. It might be halfway to the grave. We'll see. Once I get sucked in, I get sucked in. It's a whole thing. So wish me luck. And then we have our adult fantasy books. So the first one is actually one that I've already read because I had an ARC of it, but I didn't want to cancel my pre-order because I thought the book looked so cute. I didn't fully enjoy it, I'm not gonna lie, but it's fine. Emily Wilde's Encyclopedia of Fairies by Heather Fawcett, in which we follow Emily Wilde, who is, go figure, writing an encyclopedia of fairies. So she has gone to an island in the Norwegian seas, or ocean, whatever the right term is, where she is supposed to do some like she's studying the fae that are living on this island. But while she's studying the fae, she has to also befriend a lot of the villagers in this village that she's settled down in while doing her studies, and she's finding it very hard to do so because she's just not good with humans. And then, as it turns out as well, of course, her rival arrives on this island as well. I think his name is Bumblebee, Brumblebee, Bimblebee, Bramblebee, Bramblebee? Bamblebee. What's his name? Bamblebee. Wait, Bumblebee! Oh, that's so cute. Why couldn't your name be Bumblebee? Anyway, but he arrives and the two of them are suddenly in very deep issues. Trouble. Yes. Deep-ish, if you get what I mean. And so that's Encyclopedia of Fairies. There's some historical fiction over this as well, just want to point out, so if that's not your thing. Also, it's written as a journal, which is something that's important to point out as well, because it's not written like a normal book, it's written like a journal. So like, it starts on the 20th of October 1909, and then Emily's writing down her thoughts. But yeah. Then I also received recently Illumicrate's January book, which is God Killer by Hannah Kanner and this is a stunning book. It's gorgeous, stunning. So I've seen this art so many times and I always thought it was gorgeous, but it really does not. The pictures don't do it justice. Like, seeing it in front of you is it's so stunning. But we have a colorway change on this one. We also have naked art on art on the naked cover of our lead characters. If you want to see the back, it looks like this. We have foiled end papers that are also signed by the author. And lastly, we have these actually stunning, crazy beautiful edges that look like this. And I love them so much. And I have no idea where I'm going to place them in all this, but I'll figure it out. Might have to let one of you go. I'm just saying. It might happen. But because I cannot tell you what this book is about, it says, "You are not welcome here, God Killer." Kissen's family were killed by zealots, or zealots, I don't know, of a fire god. Now she makes a living killing gods and enjoys it. That is until she finds a god she cannot kill. Skedi, a god of white lies, has somehow bound himself to a young noble, and they are both on the run from unknown assassins. Joined by a disillusioned knight on a secret quest, they must travel to the ruined city of Blenreden. I'm pretty sure I mispronounced that massively, but I'm gonna roll with it. Where the last of the wild gods reside, to each beg a favor. Pursued by demons and in the midst of a burgeoning civil war, they will all face a reckoning. Something is rotting at the heart of the kingdom, and only they can be the ones to stop it. So we have three characters that are going on a journey, and there's something about gods. And then today, I do not know how to summarize Discovery of Witches, but I got the sequel, which is Shadow of Night by Deborah Harkness. I can remember from Discovery of Witches that there's something about this like document or something that our lead girl works in like a library, or she's at the library, she finds this document or whatever it is, a tome, I cannot remember, but it unleashes a lot of different creatures into the world, and there's a romance with a vampire, and that's all I know. So, not really helpful, but I got the sequel because it was on sale today, and this book it's very pricey normally, so I was like, okay, listen, I'm just gonna do it. So I did it. Come for me. I dare you. And then we have, and this is probably gonna be one of my favorite books, at least looks-wise. I have Heart of the Sun Warrior by Su Lin Tan. This is the Fairy Loot edition, which I am so excited to have, so it matches. You cannot see it, but I have Daughter of the Moon Goddess, like right next to this book actually, right next to this one. And now I have the matching edition of the sequel. If you want to see it, I will show you. First of all, the cover is a color change. I think the original is very yellow and orange, if I recall correctly. We have this foil stamped into the naked cover of Xingyin, not Xingyi. Xingyin, I just wanted to make sure. And also her bow, which, yes, makes sense, because we have Xingyin and Li Wei, I think it is, in the sky with the moon in the background. Super beautiful. I love the first book, so this is like, I love it. I cannot. And then in the back we have Xingyin and Wenji, I think his name is. And anyway, gorgeous setting, gorgeous, beautiful, stunning art. I love it to bits. These editions are so freaking beautiful. At least I think that's Wenji. I'm pretty sure. But anyway. And lastly, this is also signed by Su Lin Tan as well. So I always have a very hard time summarizing Daughter of the Moon Goddess because there's just so much going on in it. But a long story short, it is a retelling of a Chinese myth or something like that. It's a Chinese story about the moon goddess who has been exiled to the moon. So in this retelling though, she got there pregnant. So she drank a potion of immortality while she was pregnant, was sent off to the moon, gave birth on the moon. Xingyin was born. She happens to be immortal as well, and because of this potion she also has some powers. But she has been told time and time again to suppress her powers because if the Celestial Kingdom, the people who sent her mother to the moon, if they find out that she exists, they're gonna be in trouble. So one day she's not able to suppress her powers and it flares up. And so they have visitors from the Celestial Kingdom. Xingyin has to run away, flee the moon. But she ends up, in the process, she ends up in the Celestial Kingdom. And while she's there, she is studying with the Crown Prince, but also eventually starts to train and becomes really good at archery, and she sets out on a mission to win this thing so she can have her mother acquitted, essentially. Like, that's her whole goal. And it's cute and it's warm and fuzzy and sad at the same time, and it's just a stunning world. Like, I have a very vivid picture of what I feel like the world looks like, and I just loved it so much. It was such a good read, and I would highly recommend, and I'm very excited to go into the sequel. So, I'm also very excited that I really love these books and now I have them in these stunning editions. Very grateful, thank you. And then not lastly, I forgot, I have another two. Almost lastly, Glow by Raven Kennedy, which I guess I could have put under New Adult as well. It's a bit of a weird one, New Adult. Like, does it even exist? You know, you don't really know. But this is the fourth book in the Plated Prisoners series. I am currently reading the sequel, the second one. So in this book, it's a King Midas retelling. We follow Orin, who is gold-touched. So she's essentially just like gold, but like she can move. She's not made out of gold, she just looks very golden. Her skin is gold, her hair is gold, everything's gold. But she has been kept, what I would say, prisoner inside King Midas' castle, inside a cage inside his castle, to be more specific. She doesn't see it that way though, because she loves King Midas and believes, with all that she has, that he's only keeping her there to keep her safe. So she's like willingly staying in this cage. inside the castle, not talking to anyone. You see where I'm going with this? Okay. But then one day King Midas does something that Orin can't really understand, and it shakes her world a bit because he basically trades her off to this king, this disgusting king of another kingdom, so that he can have her for one night if King Midas gets to borrow his army. And Orin is just shocked by this, because why would King Midas do this to her? And then, you know, stuff, they have to go somewhere else. Orin is finally let out of her cage, and what happens when that happens, you know? What happens when someone who's been imprisoned in a cage is finally let out? You know? Okay, so that's at least Guild. I was about to say that's Glow, but I'm pretty sure we're way past that in Glow. Then I have another Fairy Loot edition, which is the January adult book, which I was so lucky I got to buy off of a friend. It's The Last Tale of the Flower Bride by Roshani Chakshi, which has a colorway change on the cover as well. And, oh, I still haven't fixed this. Whoops. But it also has this beautiful, I almost dropped my book, that would have been so bad. This beautiful foiling on the naked cover. It has these very stunning but also kind of creepy end papers, because in the back she looks like this and she's not happy and suddenly everything looks sad and I'm like, ugh, what's going on here? And then it also comes with these very beautiful printed edges as well that are just beyond stunning. So kind of creepy, but I think it fits the vibe of the book because it is a horror. To be a little bit more specific, an adult fantasy gothic horror. So yeah. But can I tell you exactly what it's about? Something about marriage, betrayal, second chance, stuff happening. But once upon a time, a man who believed in fairy tales married a beautiful, mysterious woman named Indigo Maxwell Castaneda. Castaneda. I don't know Spanish, I'm so sorry. He was a scholar of myths. She was heiress to a fortune. They exchanged gifts and stories and believed they would live happily ever after, and in exchange for her love, Indigo extracted a promise that her bridegroom would never pry into her past. I like how this part of the synopsis is written, just want to say. But when Indigo learns that her estranged aunt is dying and the couple is forced to return to her childhood home, the House of Dreams, the bridegroom soon finds himself unable to resist. For within the crumbling manor's extravagant rooms and musty halls, there lurks the shadow of another girl, Aisha, Indigo's dearest childhood friend who disappeared without a trace. As the house slowly reveals his wife's secrets, the bridegroom will be forced to choose between reality and fantasy, even if doing so threatens to destroy their marriage or their lives. Okay, not a second chance, but like, you know what I mean. Okay, good. Definite betrayal, a little bit. I'm very excited. It sounds very creepy. I'm gonna have a good time with it. Living for the creepy vibes. Okay, and then lastly, I'm not gonna summarize this, but I was told by you to read this, so I got it. Interview with the Vampire by Anne Rice, because I'm obsessed with vampire. Okay, not obsessed. I just really like them in some weird way. No, not in a weird way. Don't get any ideas. In a very casual way. I like vampires. So this is like the vampire book. Like other than Dracula. This is the vampire book. And so I got it. That woman or something is sent off to do an interview with a vampire. And he's telling his story. That's what this book is. So... oh, isn't it a man who's sent off to do the interview, actually? I can't remember. But yeah, telling his story, there's another vampire man, some little girl, things go bad, yes. And then we're almost done. I got 4 romances that we're gonna talk about, 4 graphic novels, and then we're done. So first off, I have Final Offer by Lauren Asher, which is the 3rd book in the Dreamland Billionaires series, their companion novels. I feel like I've built this house in The Sims, I'm just gonna say, like, I think I've seen this house before, which is kind of funny. But yeah, I don't actually know what this is about. I have not read the other 2, but I'm thinking since everyone else seems to love them, I probably will too. I'm a sucker for romances, contemporary romances, and so, yeah, no. I think this is like childhood sweethearts, broke up, someone betrayed another person, or someone betrayed the other person. There's a second chance romance, something about them both feeling like they own this house or something, and... yeah, stuff going on. So I also have, and this is actually not a first in this series, is it? Wait, what? It says 1, so it has to be. Only When It's Us by Chloe Leese, which I guess you could call new adult a little bit because it's a college sports romance, or at least there's sports over it. So these are Opposites Attracts. We have our very loud and sporty kind of girl, and then we have our studying and quiet introverted kind of guy. And they end up in the same class or something like that, and things kind of go down from there. So I heard that these are very good, and I'm excited to experience them myself. I also got this, which is actually a sequel to another book. It's companion novel, so not really a sequel, but it was in the January Afterlight Illumicrate box, so it's X's and O's by Amy Lee. Very cute edition, by the way. Colorway change to the cover, which I appreciate because I really didn't love the yellow orangey kind of background, but I do appreciate the mint pink look. Very cute. And this one also comes with character and paper art that looks like this. And also, in the back, we have different art that looks like this. Plus, it's also signed by Amy Lee, which I will show. Very cute. I don't know if you can actually see it. Is the camera showing it? Yeah, right there. And it matches the edges. And I love when that happens. I love when they do that. But this is about a bookstagrammer, kind of, who has had like 10 exes or something, and she's kind of done with the dating life, so she decides to go through all of her exes to see if she can actually get back together with one of them and see if like they're the one, if you get what I mean. And so she gets help from her firefighter roommate or housemate to help her out with this. And the two of them grow closer, but he's like, I don't do relationships. And she's like, I don't want to date someone new. And you know, they probably end up dating after all, but you know. We'll be there for the journey. There's wrinkles in my... Ew. Oh, that sucks. There's wrinkles in my cover, or in my dust jackets. Singular dust jacket. Then I also got, I don't really know what this is about other than adult contemporary romance, but there's like ghosts or something. Or maybe I took it very literally when someone said ghosts. I don't know. No! As sparks start to fly between them, Florence tells herself she can't be falling for a ghost. That's all I want to know. Like, I'm very confused. I'm right there with you if you have not read the book. I don't know what's going on with that, but hey, I'll experience it at some point. I wonder if it was inspired by that movie, Ghost. Could it be? I don't know. Lastly, I got 4 graphic novels, or 2 of them are technically manga. And 2 others. So we got my special edition of Heartstopper. I'm so excited I finally have a physical copy of Heartstopper, but I saw their naked covers with foiling on them and also super cute end papers, and I was like, I need them. I've been wanting physical copies, and I saw this and I was just like, it's meant to be. So I got it. I don't think I need to summarize Heartstopper, but as it says on the back, boy meets boy, boys become friends, and boys fall in love. So it's like the cutest kind of graphic story with just 2 guys that are getting to know themselves and getting to know each other, and one of them is, you know, experiencing falling in love with a guy for the first time, and yes, very cute. I also got first volume of Saga, because I have read about 20% of this like a year ago and then decided that I wanted a physical copy of it instead. So I did, because reading graphic novels on Kindle is just not it for me. I don't really like it, and so I prefer at least to read them in physical copies. So yes, aliens with a baby running off from people chasing them. Yep. I call them aliens because, you know, as you can see, they're not really. One has wings and the other one has horns, so like, you know. But other than that, I can't really summarize it, to be honest. I will let you know. All I know is, well, she's giving birth on the first page, so that's a whole thing. And then I got Death Note Black Edition Volume 2, which is the 3rd and the 4th volumes in this series. I completely forgot to say authors for a bit. They're written in the description. Okay, anyway. Tsugami Oba, though. This is a very interesting concept. We follow a student, like a top grade student, who one day finds a notebook that happens to be a death note. So a death note is essentially, if you write in it a name, a time, and a cause of death, this person will die at that time and also die in the way that you wrote down. So he finds this death note and decides to kill a lot of criminals. And so the police start to hunt him. They get a special force put together to hunt him, and nobody can find him, and it's a whole thing. It's about this student essentially like growing a god complex and not being able to see the errors in his ways and doing everything he can to stop the police as well from stopping him. It's messed up. It's very very interesting, and I bought this on the day that I finished volume 1, so very excited. And then lastly, in my hunt for more horror, I want to be freaked out. I don't know, I like it. It's a thing. I decided to get Uzumaki by Junji Ito, and Junji Ito, yes. And all I know about this is that it's people that are becoming obsessed with spirals. So there's a lot of imagery in this one with like Spirals. Everything is spirals. Ew. Oh, that's nasty. Oh, ew. Okay. I'm not freaked out yet, but that was creepy. Oh, kind of nasty. I'm not going to show you what it was. Definitely not going to show that picture. But like, this is the first picture and the sky is a spiral. And like, more spirals and stuff. Like, there's a lot of imagery like this in it with just spirals everywhere. So, spirals, yes. Kurusu-cho, a small fog-bound town on the coast of Japan, is cursed. According to Shuichi Saito, the withdrawn boyfriend of teenager Kirigushima, their town is haunted not by a person or a being, but a pattern. Uzumaki the spiral, the hypnotic secret shape of the world. So, I have had my eyes on these for a while. There's like 3 that are bound like this. I think it's Tomi as well, and then Gio as well. And I looked through them down at the bookstore and I thought this one was the creepiest one of them, so I decided to get it. I want to be creeped out. It's a thing. Just leave me alone. I have not managed yet, but hopefully this will do the job. So, but yeah, my book stack is kind of like falling down, so give me a second. That was the book haul for today. For February, hopefully. The next one will not be in March, but we'll see. Well, I don't know what will happen anyway. So I hope you enjoyed this. Again, all the books are linked in the description box if you want to check them out, read the synopses, or just check them out. You know, you can find links to them there. If you've read any of them, let me know what you thought of them. Whether it's good or bad, feel free to share. And if you enjoyed this video, feel free to hit the thumbs up. And if you want to see more videos like this from me, definitely consider hitting the subscribe button. I do TBR videos, wrap-ups, more book hauls, bookish unboxings, reading vlogs, and all the other booktube stuff. So if that's of any interest, the subscribe button is right there. It's an option. Feel free to click it or not. But I'm gonna leave you to it. Put these books wherever they fit on my shelves. I will figure it out. Hope you enjoyed this video, and I'll see you all in the next one. Bye-bye.
You know you're beautiful.